just prayed, because I just thank God for that prayer that was prayed. I thank God for the hostesses of this occasion for hearing from God, doing exactly what God wanted you to do. I heard you say that you're not used to a bigger setting, but this is just the beginning. Amen. This is just the beginning. Right. Trust and believe this is just the beginning, because there's a need for it. You know, a lot of women don't do it because they don't know where to start or have the unction, but because you took that step, God is going to increase it. Trust and believe. Trust and believe that God is going to do something in it. Amen. Amen. Call to love. That's the thing. Call to love. And not only call to love, but call to love you. All right. So in order to be called to love, do you know who you are? So that's what I want to focus on, of knowing who you are. Okay? I want to talk about, and I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, how do you want me to approach this? There's love is broad. So I said, what do you want me to focus on, God? How do you want me to present it? How do you want it? How do you want this to occur? And so he said, you know, do you? He said, do you? And I said, okay, God, what does that mean? I said, I need some clarification on what to really do. So he said, it's in you. This is a topic that's in you, a topic that you live by. And when I was talking to the ladies previous, it's a testimony of mine. Love. Because I have been there to the point of not loving myself. I have been to the point of not loving others. And I have been to the point of asking God, why? Why? Why are you doing this to me? That love, that the type of love of with God, wondering if I even love you. Because of the things, why me? Why did you, God, put me through this situation? Why did you allow this stuff to happen, God? Why, God, why? But I had to come to realize the first step is to learn how to love myself. There's no way I can love God or love others if it first isn't in me. And in order for it to be in me, I need to know what love is. So according to 1 Corinthians 13:4, we know the scripture. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. So in saying that, we know that God is love. How do we know God is love? It says it keeps no record of wrongs. If you look at our past and look at the people around us, trust and believe they have a record of what we done wrong. But because God is love, there's no record of our wrongdoing. So we know that God is love. You can't pay for love. There's many that try to pay for love, but again, they're seeking love in the wrong places. But love is the ability to forgive. You have to be able to forgive. If not, you won't be able to say that you love that person. There's no way that you can walk around and say, I do, I love you, but yet you can't forgive of the itsy-bitsy things. I'm not even talking about the huge things, but just the itsy-bitsy things. We can't even forgive that. So how are we going to say that we love our sisters and brothers when we can't even forgive? Did you know that you are the call of Jesus Christ? And you are the beloved of God? Called to love. That's who we are. We're called to love. A lot of times people want to think, when they say the call to something, call to ministry, first thing think of preaching. First thing, teaching. But there are so many callings in the body of Christ that all of us fit in some way or another. There's a call to love, which all of us can do. There's a call of smiles, of friendliness. There's a call of teaching the children, of singing. There's a call of helping. There's so many different callings in the body of Christ. But one that we all can take hold of is a call to love. Love your brothers and sisters. Love God. Is it easy? No. No, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that it is an easy task.
Right.
But it's a task that God has given us. Why? Because He knows we're capable of doing it.
Amen.
It's a commandment. And if you're going to love God like you said that you love Him, you got to follow His commandments. Your call comes from the love of God, which He has specifically for you. And that is ushers you into a realm of God's love that no one knows but those who receive it. See, when you tell people about things, about your calling, especially when you're beginning, and you're like, God, who do I go to? Who do I tell? But it's hard because they wouldn't understand. So when people don't understand your mindset of God, then you start questioning, okay, God, was it you? Is it you that was speaking? Because nobody else seemed to understand me. But the reason they don't understand because they didn't call Him. They didn't call them. They called you. He called you.
All right, come on.
He called you. And the only way that's the only way that you will be able to hear. When somebody calls your name, you turn around and answer. But if somebody calls somebody else's name, you won't turn around. If you do, you're just being nosy. Just to see who they're talking to. But if they call your name, you're going to call and like, who is that calling me? Because that's who you are. Somebody's calling you. But again, if they're calling somebody else, you're going to keep going. So it's hard for me as Sandra to respond to Tanya because my name isn't Tanya. So that's how it is with God's calling. It's hard for you to understand when you're not the one being called. So when somebody's calling or another person, or when God is calling another person in whatever realm, have that compassion because you don't know what they're going through. It's hard to receive a calling, especially when you're already like, okay, God, I don't know if it's you or all of that. It's hard. It's really hard. So be in the place of knowing about callings, because when He called you, when it's your time, if you haven't heard from Him, you want that same compassion, that you have somebody in that place to come to. First of all, God wants you to live a life worthy of calling you have received.
All right.
But what does that mean? To live a life worthy of the calling you have received. So there are many examples around us that states that means to live in a manner worthy of a calling. This Wednesday, we had Bible study, and the state trooper came to the church to speak to us about, the traffic. This is the holiday season. It worked out. I don't think it was supposed to have been worked out like that, but I think it worked out that it being the holiday season that they came and was talking about, highway safety and things of that nature. Well, and looking at that, I was looking at one of the troopers, and he was talking about, his testimony, as his job, as his career, how he got saved. And I remember it very clearly that he got saved April the 7th, because it's my birthday. So I know I remember that forever. But, and so he was just talking about, the people that he come in contact with. And I was thinking, as a policeman, as a state trooper, that when he's at work, his job is to be an example of the law. That's his job. His job, he can't be caught stealing. He can't be caught cheating. He can't be caught in those type of... His job, his main focus is to uphold the law. A doctor supposed to live worthy of his profession. He heals the sick. He cares for those who are ill. He seeks them, make them well. So how is that talking about love? Love in a profession. The only way that you could continue to be in that profession and do justice is to love it. You have to be able to love what you do. As a teacher, we're not supposed to talk about Christ in school because they unbanned it. But because I love what I do and I love who I serve,
come on,
the kids have no other choice to know the God that I serve.
all right.
And he was talking about how one of the officers was talking about how, he had to actually minister to some of these people because these are different inmates and you never know what they're going through. And it's important because the one thing that he may say can change the whole outcome of that person's life. But if we're not living the way that we're supposed to live, how are we going to be the example? They're not going to see that. The only thing they're going to see is a cop pulling me over. But if you talk to them, by him talking to them and let them know, look, there's another way out. Because he loved to do what he does. So he's able to do that he's able to do and speak with them. But we're talking about call to love. In order to love and love right, you have to love yourself. And there's two types of loving yourself. The first one is the simple one. It is the being prideful and conceited and arrogant. That's the simple one. The one that you're the greatest gift, God's creation. Nothing is all about you and nothing else but me. That's the loving yourself. But that's the simple one. But then there's the loving yourself that is naturally being thankful of what God made. Now, I don't consider this being sinful, but I'm just so convinced of who I am that you can't make me change my mind of who I am. Right, regardless of what you say or what you do or how you see it, I am just that convinced, not conceited, but I am just that convinced of who I am, of who God made me, that it can be easily mistaken of a conceit. It can be mistaken. Because when you walk around knowing who you are, right? All right, come on, when you walk around knowing that you're royalty. All right, come on. Did you see Princess Diana when she was walking around? Did she had her head walking down trying to figure out? She had her head up high because she knows her worth. She knew her worth. And that's how we have to do. When we love ourselves, we know our worth. We know who we are. We know who made us. We know our purpose. All right, come on. So loving yourself isn't a bad thing. I love me. I don't care what nobody says. I love some me. I love my faults. I love my good, my bads, my hips, my chest, my hair. I love it. Because that's who God made me. And I know God don't make no mistakes. All right, come on. I am a gift to the body of Christ. All right, come on now. Yeah. All right, come on. And it isn't cheap. So we need to know who we are. Yeah. If you know who you are, you feel comfortable. Yeah. There's some things I would say, I cut my hair or something like that. I make some changes or whatever. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's still not saying of trying to define who you are. The way that I look, my appearance does not define who I am. That's right. That's right. Whether I go short, long, wear this wig, that wig, sew in, it doesn't matter. That does not define who I am. That's right. My appearance does not define. The way that what I drive does not define who I am. Where I live does not define who I am. That's right. Because truth be told, there's some people that live in the project, but their heart is so for God. Yeah, that's right. It's ridiculous. Some of the ones that bump in the ride until the time comes. They're sold for God. They're sold out for Him. So that doesn't matter. That doesn't define who you are. I know that I was created to be a helpmeet to my husband. I know I was created to be a wife, a mother, a teacher, a sister, and a friend. But in order to do all of that, somewhere in this vessel have to be love. Amen. Now you can do it and do it grudgingly. You can do it just because that's the thing to say is, I love you, my sister, with the love of the Lord. With the love of the Lord, I love you. Truth be told, but I'm telling them when I finish seeing you, I'm going to call so-and-so and sister so-and-so and tell them what you did. You know, we know. But as a sister and as a friend, you have to be able to love. Because if they don't see the love on you, then they can go lost. Because who are they going to turn to? It's bad enough that the church already have a name for themselves. And it's bad enough that we as women have made that name for it. You know, usually it's the women. The men, they can come together and do so much without stripes and all that things like that. But it's something about women coming together and can't get it together, can't do it in love. I guess it's because, well, you did this program, so I would have done it this way. I would have did this. I would have did, I. It would have been all these I's. But instead of saying, sister, if you need any help with anything, just let me know. And then they might say, you know, oh, I have an advice. I'm seeking advice for so-and-so. And then that's your opportunity to say what it is that you might have on your mind to say. But when it can't. The church is being held back because we as ladies are not loving. We're supposed to be the ones that's loving. We're the mothers. We're nurturers. It's natural for us to love, supposedly. We naturally love our kids. And we say that we love God. They never seen him. But we love him. But the sisters that you fellowship with every day, can't stand them. Because she wore the same dress I wore last week. And you hate her because she looked better. So now you want to be jealous. Yes, sir. But there are some things we must not allow the way that we look to define our values. We must let go of the past. This is all staying, loving ourselves. In order to love everybody else, we have to be able to love ourselves first. Letting go of that past, that's a hindrance. That's that forgiveness that I was talking about, that you got to be able to forgive. That's part of letting go of that past. Because the person, and this is the thing that gets me, the person that we cannot forgive has went on.
Come on now, they move on.
They move on.
Yeah.
They don't care. I mean, they moved on to another state, moved on to another person, moved on to whatever. But we're the ones still holding on to our past and wondering why our future don't look bright. Because we're still holding on to our past. So we must let go of our past hurts and disappointments. Even after the person leaves who disappointed us, we still allow their opinions affect the way we live today. Their opinions matters to us even today. Even though they called us fat. Even though they downed us. Even though they talked about us. But for some reason, their opinion matters. Once we're able to let it go, to release them, because evidently there's some deliverance that needs to be taking place. There's a stronghold there with each other, between that person, those two persons, that you can't let it go. That if you're still thinking and hindering on that person, or people, or children, or boy, or girl, or job, or situation, then there's some deliverance that needs to take place within yourself. Because you cannot move until you're free. You can't move on until you're free, because every little thing that happens in your life will bring you back to the past. Bring you back to what happened. Right? But once you're free, it don't matter what they say, what you say, it don't matter anything. I've been delivered and freed from that, so you can talk about whatever. And you know what I like about Hillary Clinton? Is every time they bring up the scandal, she's like, well, I mean, that's one thing you got. I already know that happened. So, and what? I mean, that was the past. You know, and I'm like, dang, that girl is strong. Because when you start hearing it all the time, and you're like, really? I mean, okay, that's all. So that says a lot. That's all you got. I already been there. Me and my husband already talked about it. That's in the past. This and that. Me and the sister already got that covered. That's in the past. You know, now bring up something. If you want to attack me, devil, you need to come correct. All right. Come with something present or something that I haven't been delivered with, something that haven't been resolved. But when it's something that has been resolved, it don't matter. Can't hit it. You can't hit it. They can't hit you with anything. Come on now. Because it's been resolved. I'll still be able to sleep at night because I already know. He already know. They already know. So I still can sleep. So evidently you're hindering on it because you're talking about it. And I'm sleeping. And I'm sleeping good. I can go to sleep at night because that's been resolved. Don't compare yourself to others. Do not compare yourself to others. That is loving yourself. Love what God has created. Love who God created. Just because you see that person having this and that doesn't mean you don't know what it took for them to get this. Right. And you don't know if that's a facade anyway. That could be a facade. Just because I'm walking around with a Michael Kors doesn't mean I didn't get it on sale. I know that's
somebody didn't give it to me.
I would catch a sale and clearance. And my daughter even talking about, Mom, I'm like, you now I just go to the clearance. I told her it's the same items that was out there, it was just the last one left. Okay? And they just marked it out so it can easily be sold. So, exactly.
Can I say something real quick? I ain't never been to one of these meetings, so I ain't exactly sure how everything is done, but somebody might have more than you, but they might not have Christ. So they got a whole lot less than you got.
And that is the truth.
Even if they're a billionaire.
That's the truth. A lot of stars. That's a lot of stars, a lot of celebrities. They have it all. And we think, and that's the thing about comparing yourself to others, we think by looking at them, have these houses, mansion cars, 4 or 5 cars, that they got it going on. But yet, suicide, depression, all of this other things that they have to deal with because they don't have Christ. But when we're as Christians, when we're struggling through something, we know we have an adversary with the Father. We can call on Him. We know that our help is on the way. But with them, it's hard. Who do you call on? You can't call on your best friend. So then all of these, that's when all that depression and suicidal thoughts and all this stuff come to pass. If you notice in the news, all these celebrities just all of a sudden just dying. They're just dying. They're just dying. And so, they say we're better and most of it is be overdosed with something. They have to take it in order to survive. Nothing wrong with them physically, but in order to survive and keep going, doing what they're doing, they have to take all these meds, and they want more of it to keep them up, more of it to do whatever it is that they need to do, and overdose.
Like Elvis did, and a lot of others.
There's a lot. So loving yourself, it is important to love yourself. Loving God is a second one. Loving God through obedience.
Come on.
Loving God through obedience. 1 John 5:3, talking about loving God means keeping His commandments, and His commandments are not burdensome. His commandments not burdensome. And loving God through obedience and loving others, they kind of go hand in hand.
Amen.
As Jesus said in 2 John 1:6, that this is love. Doing what God has commanded us, and He has commanded us to love one another. Just as heard in the beginning. And not only to love, but to walk in it. Walk in it. Loving God through obedience. That means that following His commandments. If His commandments say love your neighbor, you love your neighbor. And for years I always thought that loving neighbors was a person next door. But then He showed me if they move and somebody else comes, do you not love them but continue to love the person that moved away? Or do you continue to love them and your neighbor next door? So that was an eye-opener to love your neighbors. You have to love your neighbor as yourself. Love them. If you love yourself, go next door and buy your neighbor them flowers. Go next door to buy your neighbor, and I'm not talking about just that neighbor, but neighbors. Love your neighbors. Talk about each other. We need to love each other. That for real love. Not that motherly love, but that for real, the unconditional love. That agape love. Now with that agape love, there's no condition.
All right.
I love you because I love you. Not because of what you gave me, not because of who you are, not position you're in, but because I love you. And when we come together as ladies to be able to love like that, love like Christ gave Himself, He didn't have to do it. Because He loved us. He loved the people that talked about Him. He loved the people that hated Him. He loved the true meaning of love. Jesus was the best example. It is the best example of love. Regardless of what was said, done, spit on, hung, everything. But I love Him. Had opportunity after opportunity. But I love Him. And so when we come together and we know that a person is hurting, a sister is hurting, and the first thing we'll say, oh, what's that for you? And then go about your business. And then the next time you hear about it is when somebody else said, can you keep sister so-and-so in prayer? Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot she's going through. But if we're continuously keeping one another lifted up in prayer, it wouldn't be a thing of forgetfulness because we're doing it daily, hourly, minutely, whenever. Loving others. Talked about the second commandment that God has given us. Loving our neighbors as ourselves. So why is it hard to love each other? Once again, you can't give out something that's not in you. If love isn't there, you can't give it. When we have a call on our lives, He never said that the task was going to be easy. So to love someone in spite of all the hurt, disappointments, He said it wasn't going to be easy. But it was necessary. It is definitely necessary. Because we cannot assume that a person that may have lashed out on you was having a great day. Or even that's just how they are. That's the first thing. Oh, that's just how they are. No. I'm not giving them that excuse.
Amen.
No, that is not the way they are. Talk to them. Maybe they're going through something. Because if a person is so bitter and so angry like that, something is wrong. Something happened. Something may be happening. You know, because they might still be holding on to their past. They might be going through something right now. But never let that be an excuse. Oh, that's just the way that they are. They always talking like that. That's the way that they... No. Talk to them and see exactly what it is that they're going through. But as I close, because I'm going to close here. As a first lady, I remember somebody asked me, girl, how do you do it? That's a simple question. How do you do it? I can't do it. It's one big thing. These people, all these people that you got to deal with, people talking to me. And I said, you know what? At the beginning, I'm going to be honest, when we first started pastoring, that's him. I ain't calling. That's on him. I don't have to deal with it. But then when I realized that I do, in order for me to help him meet his mandate, that I have to be involved. And when she asked me how was I able to do it, especially in meetings and people want to say, and I said, you know what? I let the Lord handle it. Because what they say is going to come out in the real them. People going to see it. The real them is going to be shown. Then you would know who really got your back.
All right.
You would know who really loves you for you. You would know who's really caring, who's your armor bearer. You would really know that. So I let people talk. I let them. I won't say anything. I let them talk and say, God, you got this. Because if he didn't have it, he wouldn't have put him in this position. I had to learn how to love. My past kept me from loving. My past, and then I remember one of the ladies saying, it's just hard to love. I mean, love is an action word, which it is. But you got to remember that some people didn't even hear that word before. So if they never heard love, they get excited when somebody say they love them. We get excited because if somebody show us love, because we're used to hearing love. I'm used to my husband saying I love you. I'm used to my daddy and my mother saying I love you. I'm used to my kids saying I'm used to that. But if I was at a place that I never heard it, my parents never told me, my kids never told me, I don't know what that is, then when somebody say I love you, if they break down and cry, you'll know why. Because that's the first time that they heard that word and actually mean it. You can say, oh, God, let's go around. But to say, I love you, and mean it, if they break down and cry, you'll know why. Because they have never heard that word before. They heard it before, they never seen it in that action, in that way. They have never seen love displayed in that manner. I remember I was telling one of mine, I don't know where I was just telling, I think maybe Bible study, I can't remember where, but I was telling somebody about seeing my dad cry for the first time. And I was like, I had never seen my dad cry before until his mom passed. And I was like, man, I was younger. I'm like, Daddy crying, like, wow, what do I do? What do I say? How do you react? And that showed me how much, even though he's that strong of a man, that he loved his mom. That for him to break down and cry the way that he did, that said a lot about love. That love, love is just that. And I always wonder, why is love, when you're displaying love, it's heart? Why is love always heart? During Valentine's Day, when you talk about love, why is it heart? Just why is love heart? And it's because that's where it starts. It starts in the heart. I am a person, and I am going to close this time. That's my first closing. But I'm a person that I am genuinely loving. I just love everybody. I don't know if that's the reason why God has given me the smile that I have. Because I never used to always talk about my smile. I used to hide it. I always used to hide it because everybody used to talk about it. So it's like, it must be something if everybody's always talking about it. But when I realized that there was a gift, then I started using it more. I would just start smiling. I was just smiling. And it's not perfect to y'all. But I used to, I think, and this is gift. This is just something that God has given me. And I truly love people. And even at school, and this thing that will make me want to go off on some parents and staff. But it's like, man, I can't even get the unction to even want to do that. I mean, I wanted to do it, you know, it's like, I need to do it. I think I would feel satisfied. I think I'm saying to myself, I would feel satisfied if I did it. But then I know I have to be that example. Mm-hmm. I'm not there. Every school I'm at, I feel that I'm an example. I don't know why he called me to this school or that school. But I'm like, okay, that means my assignment at that school was over. I need to come to this school. And then it's like, so when I realized, oh God, that's why you did it. He moved me to another school. It's like, really, God? But because, and they tell me all the time, when people tell you, they tell me all the time, it's just something about, he's just loving. I mean, he's just loving. And they would curse and be like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, like, and I'm like, you know, I don't say anything. But I'm glad that I'm that example for them to realize, you know, I'm being that light. I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I was called to do. I was called to love them unconditionally. Because somebody else might have said, oh, don't be doing that, you're cursing me out of all of that. I mean, that's who you are. I mean, I thank you for respecting that you won't do it in front of me. But I'm not going to say, don't ever come around me anymore. Don't ever talk to me because you curse, because you smoke, because you drink. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to live my life as the example that God has called me to be. And that my life should help you change. But in closing on love, God is love. Yes, if you didn't hear anything I said today, love yourself first. Because how, I say this and I'm loving yourself. No. Loving, like you need to do, if you don't love yourself and you need to learn how to love yourself, the first thing you need to do is go on a blind date with God. I would say it like that. Go on a blind date with God. And the reason I say a blind date, because we don't know. I mean, we don't see him. So it is a blind date. Well, we don't see, because we haven't seen him. So when you're thinking about blind date, you have this profile, you know, you're going on the internet, having this profile and looking at the profile, and that's how you decide who you want to date and things of that nature. Well, look at his profile. It's in the Word. You look in the Word. That's his profile. Go on a blind date. If you don't know who you are, go on a blind date with him. Get to know him. Right? Go in his Word, and he will tell you about you. Right? Come on. So learn to love yourself, regardless, unconditionally, regardless. Don't stand on what other people say about you. Don't compare yourself to anybody, because God made you. You are special. You were born to win. You're victorious. You're royalty. You're the child of God. Know that that's who you are. And everything else will fall in place. Love. Love. Just when you walked out of here, as a matter of fact, just do something random for a person. Do something random. That random act of kindness, and see how you feel after. See how you feel after. Yes, I might not have much. I know I don't have much. But for a random act of kindness, and just look. You don't even have to be in the same area for that person that you do something. You can just leave it, leave a note, walk away, and just see how you feel after you do it. You don't even have to see their reaction or anything, but see how you feel. It's something about loving. Random acts of kindness is a part of love, because I'm doing it. I'm giving what God has given me. Amen.
Amen.
And I do thank you for your attention. I pray that something that was said will spark an unction to love even more. Amen.